Kia ora, I come in peace. This is my response to all the feedback from my spoken word, jabbed and unjabbed. Thank you. Thank you for engaging and contributing to the kōrero, to the talk. I feel it's healthy to bring this important and real subject, the COVID story, into the light. COVID, the way it was presented to us, the world, and how we, the world, responded and in many cases reacted to it. I want to thank and acknowledge the engagement and the overall respectful and kind comments. And even the strong, emotionally charged and one-sided comments by some people using this platform to express how they feel, getting their anger out, their pain and disappointment in others' behaviours, but not looking for a fight, not attacking or belittling others for speaking their truth. I love that. We need safe, honourable spaces to express our feelings without needing to waste our precious energy trying to change someone else's mind, or to try and make them feel bad to make us feel better. That's what I invite into the space. My videos, content, offerings are an expression of the loving energy I have for humanity, for the universe. I'm open to people using these threads of discussion to express, to release, to connect, to heal. These are not just other people's words. These are parts of people's hearts, minds, and even souls. That's potent, and it can be healing. I am a lover. I'm also a warrior, and a king and a wizard. And my inner warrior voice, especially thanks to the art of haka, will speak up, will sing out, will stand up for what I feel needs it, especially injustice and harm from self-assumed authority. Fuck that shit. And I may offend some people with my outspoken way, my dark sense of humour, etc., but at least you know I'll keep it real as my true authentic self, and that's important for me and for you. When I show up here, I'm not after likes. I'm bringing love for myself to be myself, for my family, for you, love for us all. Love for all our languages and cultures, for our free minds, our free choices, freedom to move and live in peace. One more thing about the comments. I felt some wounds of racial division coming through in the comments to that spoken word. Thanks again for bringing these wounds into the light. I love hearing people being racist in public. It shows clearly that it's still there, right there. And I appreciate knowing what environment I'm in. The thing is, racial division, medical division, gender division, political division, fucking football team supporters division are clearly age-old, tried and true ways of distracting us. Distracting us, the people of the land. Distracting us, tiring us out, turning us against each other from multiple angles for multiple reasons. All the while, corruption from the corporations, war and famine, dodgy laws being passed by dodgy beings continues. Not to mention the outrageous cost of butter. Fuck, I really love butter. Remember, division is a tool, a big, old, rusty, yet reliable tool. And if we allow ourselves to fall into the temptation of judging and attacking, of hating and cancelling each other, then we are allowing ourselves to be used by that tool. Used. What are you if you let yourself be used by a tool? Not much, I reckon. The great news is, the tool isn't real. It's only a hologram of a rusty big old tool called division, which can only affect you, can only affect us if we choose to let it use us. So choose wisely, my friend. E hoa mā me ata whakaaro. Okay, now I want to highlight 3 important points from my spoken word. Point number 1, jabbed and unjabbed, we all did our best. How we work together now is the ultimate test. Every one of us was doing our best at the time, best under extreme circumstances, such as we'd never experienced before. Fear can make us do crazy things, including not thinking straight or thinking about others. What we all went through was the biggest, most well-coordinated and well-funded global psychological operation ever staged, which activated fear to the point that some people lost the ability to think freely for themselves and handed complete control of their lives, their minds, their thoughts, words and feelings over to whatever and whoever was going to save them and their family from dropping dead in the streets. We also saw some people react angrily to this control, to the propaganda, to the medical apartheid and exclusion from society. They were full-on times for all of us. So, we remember even the worst of us were doing our best, always. Always do your best. That's one of the 4 agreements. Have you heard of those? They're like this: always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personally. These 4 agreements can make a great guide for our lives. Anyway, point number 2. The great news is, it's not too late to stop it, but first for some of us, there's some hard truths to swallow. Now, for those of us willing, open and able, there are indeed some hard truths to swallow, such as those safe and effective life-saving jabs you took and possibly continue to take. They may not be safe and effective. This could actually be dangerous and harmful to you and your family. Now, that's hard to hear, especially when we realize that so many jab injuries, chronic illnesses and deaths all around us are happening right now. It could be hard to acknowledge your trust in the government and the media and your local marae could result in you potentially also being negatively affected by those jabs. It could be hard to own you've been fooled while under the foggy state of fear. That's why I say, if you trusted them then, I understand why, my friend, the fear-mongering so loud, the propaganda well paid for. The truth is, right now, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we have our own brave whistleblower, Barry Young, who exposed hundreds of undeniable deaths due to the jabs at the hands of our own doctors. Check that out, Barry Young. The proof is there, and if you're brave and big enough to look at it, and look for it in places you haven't looked before, the truth isn't pretty, and it does go deep and wide, which is all the more reason for us all to rise together now while we can. If you still won't open to the possibility that these jabs are dangerous, then maybe you'll do it for the sake of your kids and their kids to come. On that magical day when you do courageously jump into that dark rabbit hole, I suggest taking one of your so-called yet very caring conspiracy theory mates with you. Take a cup of tea, some banana cake, a comfortable seat close to the floor. Point number 3. For the sake of our children and their children to come, let's all learn from this pandemic and let's all stand now as one. I believe COVID-19 was a trial run to gauge how compliant we'd all be, a chance to learn and prepare for the next pandemic. Well, luckily, it was also a chance for us all to learn and prepare for the next pandemic. Remember how amazing freedom together felt after being locked away from each other? How beautifully natural it felt to move and go about our days freely? Let's use this freedom to continue gathering in good places with good people. Let's rebuild those damaged relationships with friends and family over food and fun times. Let's have those catch-up chats with those people we turned away from, who excluded us. Let's learn and forgive. Let's remember and rebuild our communities and connections with our grumpy, mean neighbors, and have a laugh at how fucking rude we all were. Let's call up your sister or brother, your children or your parents, and start sowing seeds of peace. Take a cake, share a beer, have a hug, or a coffee mug. Listen, hear them, feel them, do our best to understand them, see the soul inside, care for them. I know, some people are beyond it, beyond caring, listening, opening up, being friends. Some seem to be beyond being kind at all. So build community around you with people you can trust, and talk with your family and make a commitment to loving each other regardless of what the news tells us to do or feel. Every day of freedom is a blessing and another day to heal human connections. Peace and love are powerful vibrations and they're good for us all. Remember the protests at Parliament? They were built on a foundation of peace and love. That's why it lasted as long as it did. And one last thing to remember. Grace and evil cannot coexist. Which will we be bringing to the world? Big love.